Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back to Let's Get Messy Wednesday with Dollie, Tisa, Amy, and myself. Now I will go ahead and link all of their channels down below, so be sure to check out their layouts. And today I will be documenting these two photos, and these photos are of my grandson and my daughter. Now to get messy today, I will be using gelatos, and on my community tab up above here on YouTube, I ask to you guys, my subscribers, what you'd like to see me use on my next layout, and Jenny asked me to use gelatos, so my main focus will be on a background today using gelatos. And Virginia and Sue both asked me to stamp, so I will be doing a very tiny bit of stamping today, but I promise in a future layout I will focus a lot more on stamping on my layout. Now I will also be doing another challenge for the Redefined Creative Facebook page, where they had this awesome sketch that you're looking at right now. So I will be doing this, using this sketch today on my layout. And I'll also be doing the Mercy Tiara's bingo challenge, and I'll tell you more about that later on. And let's go ahead and get started now on my background. Now I did decide to use a clear gesso today instead of a white gesso, and I am using American Crafts cardstock, and it is a textured cardstock. And with this clear gesso, it does not take away from that textured background. And you can see I'm using this silicone brush to add that gesso on there, and this way I get a very thin layer. Now, I am not using a lot of liquid on this background today. I am just using gelatos with a baby wipes. But the reason I am using the gesso is to get a surface that I can easily blend these two colors onto my background. If I was to use the gelatos directly on this cardstock, I will not get a very smooth and creamy look once I'm finished blending those gelatos together. So now you'll see just how easy it is to have these gelatos blended on this background with the gesso on there. I'm just basically scrolling my blue and my butterscotch gelatos on the background, and I'm not pressing really harsh because I do not want those really harsh lines that'll be very hard to get out later on. So I'm just adding it lightly, and you'll see now that I start blending it out with the baby wipes, all of those lines will disappear. Now you can use a moist finger as well, and you will get a darker shade, as you can see here. But I was going for a lighter shade, and I decided to use the baby wipes. Now I'm going to work only on the blue portions first, because I do not want to mix these two colors too much, because I will get a hint of green in there, which I was not going for. So you may have noticed before, I just added the gesso about 3/4 of the way down on this white cardstock. And that's because the bottom portion will not have any gelatos on the background. I am following that sketch, and you can see it has a slanted, this diagonal slanted design, and just the top portion will have this background. So now I did mention I am doing the Mercy Tiara's Summer Inspiration Challenge, and it's the bingo board that I'm using today. And I needed to use, let's see, 5 different items on there. One would be chipboard. I needed to use 3 different pattern papers, fussy cut 1 or more elements, use 2 4x4 photos, and also use border strips or border stickers. So I am gonna be using those 2 photos you saw before, and those are 4x4, including the mat, which is a very thin white mat I added behind those photos. And next up, you'll see me add my border sticker. So here you can see I used the blue gelatos, diluted it with just a tiny bit of water, and I'm adding some splatters to my background now, and I'm extending those splatters to the bottom part of this layout as well. So now for my border sticker, I am using this border sticker that came on this 12 by 12 sticker sheet. And you can see it's not going the entire way across my layout. So what I'll go ahead and do is cut off the part that you won't be seeing, that will be hidden behind the photos. And that way I can extend it past the photos instead. So here I added another sticker, another border sticker to the top of the layout. And you can see it definitely does not go all the way from one end to the next. So I'll go ahead and cut this as well. And I do leave the opening more towards the left, top left corner, because in the sketch there's a cluster up there. So it will be covered up by that cluster later on. So that takes care of two parts of the Mercy Tiara challenge, which would be to use the two 4x4 photos and to use the border sticker. And now I'm doing the third part of it, which would be to fussy cut one or more elements. And here I'm just cutting out those parasols and also these flowers. And I will go ahead and lay them out on my layout just to be sure if I need any more. And you'll see I do decide to go ahead and cut out, I believe, two more of these flowers here. So next up, I will go ahead and move on to another item on the bingo challenge, which is to use 3 different pattern papers. And the top left cluster of the sketch, there was 3 banners. And I'm gonna choose 3 different pattern papers to go ahead and add those 3 banners to that top left cluster. So now for the last item on the bingo list that I need to use would be chipboard, and I am going to use this chipboard word that says together, and those alphas I'm using to spell out the word happier chipboard as well. Now I am going to be doing a little bit of stamping that I mentioned before, but like I said, I will definitely do a future video where I focus a lot more on stamping on my layout instead of just this tiny bit that I'm doing today. Now today I am using these Bull Bunny stamps, and I'm actually just using one stamp from the set, and it is a stitch stamp, and I'm gonna run that along the border strip that I added before. Now on the sketch that I'm using, there is some stitching done on that top left cluster. So I'll go ahead and add some of this stitch stamped up on that cluster as well. So I forgot to mention before, I am also doing this layout for the Paper Issues Facebook group challenge to fussy cut. And I will go ahead and link all of these Facebook groups down below so you can check them out if you wanted to go ahead and do any of these challenges yourself. So here I'm going to rip up the little elements I added next to my photo because I want to add a journaling spot there. And I decided to use this pattern paper and make my own tag. So you'll see me just snip off the two ends on the top of the tag. I'll go ahead and use my hole puncher, and I also use a hole reinforcement punch as well to create this tag. And then I'll add some blue twine in there as well. So right now I'm just adding those elements back to my page, and you may have noticed that I did prop up that floral, that pink floral, on some foam tape just to lift it off the page, add a bit of dimension. And next up I will draw some lines where I'll add my journaling, which says Stephanie and Jaden. These two are inseparable, always together, they're best buddies. And I also added in the date that this photo was taken, which was back in 2012. So I mentioned before that the blue gelatos I use on my background have a bit of shine to it. It's not very outstanding, but it is there. And I decided to add some more glitter to my layout using these stickers, and these are from Freckle Fawn. So now I'm gonna pull out this tray of mismatched items that I keep on my desk. So every time I do a layout, I'll pull it out and try to use as much as I can from it. And it's basically a collection of any leftovers from kits or collections that I have gone through. And I believe I used just 2 word phrases from that tray. And I also used this tassel bow, and I added a tassel onto my tag as well. And I'm going to use these glue dots just to keep that little tassel in place exactly where I want it to be. And that's what I use also to adhere that tassel bow to the top left cluster. Now I'm going to add 2 flares, one that says #cute, and I'm using some foam tape behind that. And I'm also going to go ahead and adhere the one to the top left cluster that says number 1. Next up, I will add some Nouveau Accents, and these accents are white and glittered. And I'm also going to add some blue crystal drops, and I believe this is Midnight Blue that I'm using. Now, I did add some splatters before using the gelatos, but I wanted it to be a bit darker, and I decided to use this Liquitex acrylic ink in the color Peruvian Blue to add some more splatters to my background. So I hope you guys enjoyed this process today, and I hope you give a gelato's background a try on your next layout. And if you do, be sure to join my Facebook group, share it with me in the group. I would love to see it. And don't forget, go over and check out all of the other ladies on this hub today. I want to thank you all for watching, and until my next video, bye.